Thank you for joining today's session titled Cutting Edge VoIP Solutions for Illinois Area Businesses, hosted by VoIP First Media, your go to resource for making informed VoIP decisions. We encourage you to ask questions throughout the presentation by clicking on the question mark icon on the left hand side of your screen. Please don't be shy. This session will be recorded and posted to the VoIPFirstMedia.com website following today's session. To adjust the layout of your screen, please click on the icon in the lower right-hand corner. I would like to welcome our speaker today, John Maguire, a solution engineer with Illinois Voip. John, thank you for joining. The floor is yours.
Hey, thank you very much. First off, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today as we discuss some key considerations with VoIP phone service and a lot of the features and pitfalls that we see with other partners in the industry. So again, thank you for joining. I am working from home today, so in case you hear any kids in the background, I assure you they're just fine. So this is kind of the list of our itinerary to cover today. We're going to take a little bit of a time travel back, introduction to Illinois Voip, how we came about. I'm going to briefly discuss two of our engineers on the Voip service side of the house. And for those of you that may not be familiar with Voip, we'll kind of just do a quick cover of what Voip is, and how the phone service is delivered. And then we're going to go over key considerations of what to look for whenever you're considering a VoIP partner, and then capabilities as well, depending on unique construct of your business. There's a ton of different features out there that isn't not necessarily synonymous with mainstream VoIP providers, but these capabilities really do increase the follow through with VoIP. We're also going to talk about UC features or unified communication features that come along with VoIP. And then we're going to take a look at productivity as well as the cost savings and a couple examples for cost savings, moving from traditional phone systems and on-prem Pbxs to VoIP platforms. So just to take a little step through time here. In 2014, Magoo & Associates was formed. It's a parent company. The Illinois Voip kind of evolved out of. Magoo started its first VoIP offering in 2018, and then between 2018 to 2021, we've maintained 100% retention of our clients all the way across the board. In 2021, we had a little shy of 3 million minutes per month served. And due to the huge response we had with our VoIP offering in 2021, or this year, we decided to open up a sub-company, Illinois Voip, to specifically focus on the needs and necessities of VoIP service as a standalone company. And in 2021 alone, we've added 230 new endpoints across the board with phone service. In the map here, you can kind of see the coverage area of Magoo & Associates with clients as far as North Carolina to Missouri. And then obviously Illinois Voip's focuses specifically on Illinois, but a lot of our partners that have a physical location in Illinois may also have branch offices in other states. We still service those phones in those other locations as well. So we're not specifically tied to Illinois, but as for the naming convention for Illinois Voip, that's where we focus mainly on. So a little history about myself. I've been building custom VoIP solutions since 2018. When we talk about custom VoIP solutions, it's not a cookie cutter system. Our VoIP solutions are custom built based on the needs of our partners. So an example is there's a local company that we service here that's actually part of a parent organization that's in Canada. We're able to get them situated so that their branch offices in other countries, they actually have free calling between those. based on what type of tier 3 provider carriers that we use and how we engineer their system to maximize the savings specifically for them. Prior to Illinois Voip, I've got a long history in corporate as well as law enforcement. I did digital forensics and cybersecurity for years, as well as in the defense and medical fields. Our lead network engineer, yes, Landon Mcguire, he's my brother, so I selected that picture for him there. He works complex networking, and the key thing about having a network engineer with the VoIP side is the VoIP traffic needs to move at a fast and unfettered speed. So we maximize the network so that the VoIP traffic can go through to maximize call quality and eliminate any type of dropped or missed calls. Prior to Illinois Voip, Landon's worked as a national service server manager, as well as database management and conversions. So let's take a quick look and discuss what actually VoIP is. So looking back at traditional POTS or plain old telephone systems, you would have your telephone carrier that would deliver the phone lines to a physical location. There would be a PBX or a device there that would give call features to handsets that would be located within the business. And then it would get fairly complex if you had multiple branch offices passing calls back and forth. The downfall of this system is the traditional phone lines to the property is expensive, and then you would have additional hardware purchases for the PBX and licensing and maintenance that would go along with it became very expensive. The way VoIP works is instead of transferring calls across a twisted pair cable, that call traverses the internet from endpoint to endpoint. So you take a company like us that provides the VoIP service, and then the PBX can be hosted wherever it be, whether it be shared hosted at our data center or on-prem at your location. Those phone calls are actually delivered over the internet. Now, the capabilities of that is almost limited. Instead of having that phone line that goes specifically to your business, that's the only endpoint. With it traversing the internet, we can deliver that wherever. So in this instance, I'm working from home right now. I've got my desk phone here. I receive my work calls as if I was sitting in front of my office. If I'm on the road, then my desk calls can ring my cell phone. I can take those with me because those phone calls are traveling over the internet now. There's a lot of different capabilities that also come along with this, just because of the method that those communications traverse over the internet, as opposed to a T1 or dry copper pair to the business. So benefits of VoIP, if you're not familiar with them, it's a lower overall cost. If you were to pay per minute, most plans are now bundled unlimited per line, but if you were to pay per minute, you're looking at like 0.2 of a penny per minute. Extremely low cost, if not unlimited per call. Maintenance is increasingly low, whether it be hosted or maintaining your own PBX system. The actual maintenance cost is extremely low. International calling is extremely cheap. Again, with our system, US to Canada's got no rate to it whatsoever, so they're all free calls. VoIP also has a simplified conferencing, being able to loop several different callers in, or doing a webinar conference, or multiple audio-only conferences. Again, it has worldwide access, so you're able to access your phone system regardless of where you're at. Extremely scalable. We'll discuss a couple of different options of VoIP systems. A lot of them you can start out with one handset and then go up to 300 plus handsets. Ease of use, they're more intuitive now than ever. Instead of having just a phone, you can have a browser-based console as well to make changes. They're extremely versatile. We'll discuss a lot of unique integrations for business systems that helps unify the communication between clients and your business. Of course, security is always a paramount consideration. Now, one of the key things is increased productivity, being able to communicate with multiple people at once or in a group setting. And then obviously high call quality is always a great consideration. So we took a look at what was key points of our clients whenever we decided to go build out Illinois Voip itself. And the main thing that we got feedback wide for savings, 90% of our clients were experiencing an increased savings whenever it came to international calls, with a 75% increase in savings in the operational costs, what it took to actually maintain and control their phone system. And then even with local calls, they still maintain saving over 40% on local calls. And then with the integration of the telephone or teleconference system and their phone bill, a 30% increase in savings with that as well. So then we also took a look at the perception of VoIP and technology amongst businesses. 63% of the businesses that we surveyed regarding VoIP provided that VoIP was highly effective technology for their company. 62% improved productivity. And then with a competitive business where it is today, 61% said it helped them stay ahead of the curve in the competitive environment. 60% provided that it assisted in improving collaboration and communication amongst their employees. And of course, 57% enjoyed the reduced cost that came along with VoIP. And then with a lot of the call features and integrations with websites we'll discuss, 47% provided that it improved the overall company image to their clients. So we also looked at what our clients expect from their VoIP service provider. Obviously, as we stated earlier, 86% were looking for security. Likewise, reliability and price. Reputable vendor, which I can't emphasize this enough, reputable vendor. And we'll discuss where this comes in here just in a couple of slides down the road. And then the main thing, since VoIP's been kind of a hot topic the last several years, our clients were looking for technology that was extremely mature, something that would be reliable, secure, efficient, and then also requiring cutting edge features, items that would be able to help them in their business and stay ahead of the curve in competition. And then 71% relating to in-house IT staff and expertise to be able to manage or control a VoIP system. So with these considerations in mind, we've built quite a bit of best case scenario of VoIP platforms. And we've taken these into consideration and into heart to build out what I consider the best VoIP service that's out there today. So let's talk about the considerations specifically, what to look for whenever you're choosing a VoIP provider. So a lot of the feedback we had from clients that migrated to Illinois Voip from other VoIP providers is they were concerned with bandwidth limitations, or they were experiencing network latency. When we put a new system on, we pay close attention to the bandwidth limitations of each unique business. So what I'm discussing with the bandwidth limitations is how fast is internet getting to the business? What's the throughput? You know, the how big of a pipe do we have to work with when it comes with network internet to the business? And then based off of that, we work on prioritizing traffic. A lot of times we do what's called VLANs to ensure that the VoIP traffic has the express lane over everything else. This cuts down on any of the dropped poor call quality, other items that other vendors experience with VoIP service just by prioritizing that traffic to begin with. And then depending on the unique makeup or internet capabilities of the business that they have there, we've got several different options between cloud, on-prem, or hybrid PBXs. Now, what that is that's the computer that dictates how the phone system runs. We've got variable methods of being able to deploy these based on the unique needs of the business. So another thing to specifically pay close attention to whenever you're looking at other vendors, obviously capabilities of being able to address the network issues, but pay close attention to the changing costs. Most VoIP providers today, they've got a cloud-hosted solution, meaning that you pay per user. So as your company moves forward, you would pay an extra fee per each user as you add to your phone system. Where this becomes paramount is whenever you're device heavy but employee light. So manufacturing facilities, some medical facilities, they may only have 10 employees, but they may have 20 or 25 different phones. In those cases, the cost can rack up very high because you've got a device that you need to have in a work area, but doesn't necessarily get used all that much. So the user device pricing, again, pay close attention to, as well as third items that you would even consider for phones. So let's say you wanted to integrate a PA system into your phone system. That may take a user account again and increase your user count, but again, it's not really a phone. So obviously with any phone system, you want to pay close attention to the complex contracts. Illinois Voip, we don't lock our clients into any contracts. We feel that we earn your business day by day by providing exceptional service. So we don't lock our clients into any contracts when it comes to the phone service. The next key thing is bundled taxation. So like with any phone service, obviously there's telecom taxes that get applied with it. But what we see with most of our competitors, they bundle everything into a group. Now, the problem with bundled pricing is you have to tax that entire bundle at the highest tax rate. We itemize our invoices specifically to tax each item at the lowest possible rate that's legal. The other thing to look for is, by law, telephone companies can charge a telecom recovery fee, and that recovery fee can range from a low percentage to a fixed rate like $25. So you want to make sure that telecom recovery fee is acceptable. And I'm going to go through an example here to kind of give you a breakdown. So I did a comparison here between 8x8 and Illinois Voip phone service. Exact same pricing when it comes to service items. As you can see here with the breakdown, the way that the bundle was broken out from Illinois Voip, that we're saving our clients $73 roughly alone in taxes, just because we specifically broke down the items instead of billing it at a higher rate. The recovery fee, a byte has $27.93 for a recovery fee, which is extremely high. We're setting it at a percentage, so it's only $8.47. And then there's no service surcharge that goes along with ours. So the main takeaway, and I know taxing and telecom taxing can be extremely confusing. I'm in the industry and I'm still confused at time to time with it. If you're getting a competitive quote or you're getting a quote from another VoIP provider and they do not have their taxes itemized on the invoice, you need to reject the quote until you can get that itemized taxes. I would hate for you to think that you're signing up for a service that's $200 a month and then end up getting your first invoice after taxes at being $350 a month. So please pay close attention to that as you walk into the VoIP realm, that you understand and have a copy of what your anticipated taxes are for that. With Illinois Voip service, also, there's no requirement for T1. We've got some phone systems that are running on, I think it's 30 over 15 internet speed wide to the business. For the most part, our concurrent calls are only 54 kilobytes per call. So it doesn't take a lot of bandwidth to deliver good call quality on site. So you also want to find a company that's got a good partner investment. I'd be cautious of any type of service reseller, meaning this party doesn't provide the phone service. They don't own the phone service. They're simply reselling it from another company. We've had several businesses likewise that have came to us just because the frustration they experience with that model with other companies. They don't know who to contact with problems, and they get pawned off back and forth between the reseller and the actual vendor that provides the phone system. I like to say there's one nook to choke. You want to be able to go to whoever your vendor is and address issues or questions or problems or concerns with them directly and have resolutions instead of being pawned back and forth to other vendors. With Illinois Voip, we provide white glove service. A solution engineer like myself will work with you from the design all the way to the implementation, and then training, and then a follow-up to make sure that your phone system's running as desired. You get a dedicated account rep to be able to assist you as your business grows. And then we offer both managed and supported. So the difference between managed and supported, and if you have your own IT team, they would rather manage their own phone system, then we can support those managers of the phone system. If there's no IT team, we can work with your company to be able to manage and support that both. So depending on the uniqueness of your business, we can provide as much service or just support for your phone system as needed. And then honesty. It's sad that I have to have this listed as a key point for selecting a VoIP vendor. But we worked with a company not too long ago, and the numbers that they had, they were non-portable. So yeah, I told them, I'm like, we can't move these phone numbers over. Nobody can. And then ultimately, they decided to go with another vendor that said that they could. And then 6 months later, they gave me a call back. I'm like, I noticed your phone number is different. And they reluctantly said yes. They got duped, thinking that they could carry the numbers after they signed the contract. They realized that they couldn't take those numbers. So honesty is a key thing from the get-go to ensure that you're getting the right information up front, and you don't get locked into a contract and then sleight of hand something else. So the key differentiator with Illinois Voip is our implementation and training program to ensure that your employees know how to use the phone system before live calls start going to them. Our implementation strategy ensures that we maximize the benefits that's available for the VoIP system for the way that you specifically conduct business. And then we have our own online knowledge base and, of course, support center for 24/7. So if there's any issues or questions, we're able to tackle those. And then in today's business environment, integrations in your phone system maximizes your profitability, or it maximizes the efficiency of your business. So these custom integrations, we've got quite a bit of out-of-box integrations for a lot of ERP or CRM business platforms. And then we can also design it for custom call handling. We can do text-to-speech with our systems. We can build automatic outbound dialers, as well as database queries. So if you wanted your phone system to query what your client's balances are as a self-help system, we can engineer this to do so. So let's look at service and capabilities here. Illinois Voip, we really have two main sides when it comes to the Voip service. We've got our hosted Voip, which it's shared hosted system. It's at our data center. In this model, it is a pay-per-user type model. It's the lowest initial cost. We do provide quite a bit of unified communication tools and over 40 call features. Our premium phone systems, what we call the private PBX. This is one we're going to discuss more in depth today specifically. The main difference between hosted VoIP and private PBX, where private PBX just becomes the best deal, period. The private PBX, you do not pay per user or per device. Once we build the system out, there's kind of a base charge with it. There's no per device fee. So you could have 150 users, or let's say 300 devices, and there's no device fee. We've got the capability of cloud, on-prem, and hybrid, and we'll discuss those here in a little bit. And again, the private PBX has the lowest overall cost with custom and out-of-the-box integrations. We also do provide fax service by three main fashions. Fax over HTTPS, so you would have a fax modem that plugs into your fax machine, and that's how you would send and receive faxes by a traditional method of your fax machine. Similar to that is a T38 fax. Again, you have a fax modem. The difference between fax over HTTPS and T38, T38's live, so it would be just as it received the call, more along the traditional lines. Fax over HTTPS, we record it at our servers and then send it back down converted to that fax modem on site. And then fax by email is actually quite interesting. We give you a custom email address, and you would put the fax number you want to send something to at then that custom domain, and then you just attach the fax document, send it, and then at our servers we convert it, send it as a fax. Likewise, if somebody faxes to your phone number, we convert it and then send it to the email address of your choice as a attachment. So it uses email to convert the faxes, either inbound or outbound. And of course, a lot of people are taking advantage of Teams today. Our private PBX can integrate directly with Teams. And then we also have a direct PBX that also works with Teams. The benefit of Teams and VoIP is we're able to deliver a PSTN, or a public service telephone number, to your team. So if you're having Teams meetings, it gives them an actual physical phone number to call in to be able to join that discussion by phone as opposed to just a computer. All right, so let's look at the service options for the private PBX. So in this image here, the PBX, or the computer that runs the phone system, is situated on our servers or at our data center. Each call is delivered individually to the handset at corporate offices, remote workers working from home, mobile cell phones, other branch offices. Everything's delivered from the cloud server to each individual handset, regardless of where that handset's at. So the cloud server hosted at our data center manages everything and then connects each of those phones as if it was all located within one business. But in reality, it's hosted at our data center. Now, this type of system works great for non-dense work environments. If you've got a corporate office that has 300 employees and you've got roughly 100 employees on the phone at a time, that takes quite a bit of bandwidth to be able to handle that large of a dense organization. So this type of deployment, the traditional VoIP deployment, may not work for dense corporate environments like that. So that's where On-Prem Pbx comes in handy. In this case, Office One is a dense corporate environment, 300 employees. We have the PBX located there to be able to handle that dense environment. And then it also accesses the internet to be able to deliver phone service to your remote workers, teleworkers, and those on mobile platforms. So in this scenario, the PBX resides where you have the largest amount of employees, but can still deliver the phone system to the other sites and locations. So now we're looking at a hybrid environment. In this case, we've got multiple branch offices that have dense employees. Office One, let's say, has roughly 800 employees. Office Two has 200 employees. And a couple of branch offices. In this scenario, we would actually put the PBX in the cloud and then place what's called session border controllers at each location. Excuse me. So these session border controllers, they're like a toned down PBX. Again, they kind of reroute the bandwidth so it stays away from the PBX as much as possible. Makes a much more efficient call flow when it comes to the VoIP, increasing your call quality yet still and decreasing your bandwidth. There's a lot of control mechanisms that come well with SBC and large deployments too, so you can manage and update those devices remotely. Again, a lot of these on-prem and hybrid deployments aren't available to a lot of VoIP companies that are out there today. So let's discuss some of the features here with Illinois Voip. You get an integrated video conferencing platform. So you're able to do those video conferences, do screen shares, share documents in the midst of that. We also integrate with web chat. So with a little bit of short code, you can actually implement a chat on your website that's integrated with your phone system. For instance, if somebody was to go to a website and then start a chat, you could have that chat routed to your sales team, and they can automatically pick that up as a group, handle that, and keep the communications with your clients active. Our phone system, our private PBX, integrates with Facebook Message. So again, you get those sales leads coming in, or people in Facebook asking your corporation questions. You've got a single pane of glass to be able to manage those communications with those clients. And then also integrated text messaging. We use this on our support side, so where we can automatically send messages out regarding upcoming appointments, reminders, or allow our clients to text message us support requests. So the phone system also integrates with those text messaging. The private PBX also Integrates with Office 365, so you can keep your communications and your contacts linked together between the two. And of course, as I discussed earlier, Microsoft Teams integrations. Most of our sites, especially manufacturing, they've got a direct integration for a PA or public addressing integration, so they can maximize that PA system with their phone system. Door and phone intercom integrations. A lot of the door phones or door intercoms now have cameras in them. And the cool thing about that is, as long as it's a compatible model, somebody pushes a button to gain access to the building, whatever group's assigned to that will automatically get a pop-up to be able to answer the call and see who they're talking to at which door, which is pretty sweet, integrated directly into your phone system. And again, a lot of out-of-the-box CRM business solution, including hotel service management suites, integrate with our private PBX system. So as you can see here, this is a large quantity of common business suites that integrate with our private PBX system. And in this scenario here, just to give you an example, a Zoho client that's got their CRM system integrated with their phone, a client's calling in to speak with somebody in sales. That individual that answers the phone automatically gets a pop-up, and they can see who that client is that's calling, so they can address that client immediately with a correct name, as well as be able to look up the account information on that client right away. So it's pretty nice whenever it integrates with your phone system and your business suite. So yeah, it's a seamless transition to be able to gather the information of who you're talking to and validate that client right off the bat. So for many people that may be familiar with VoIP, the base core features of VoIP is pretty consistent across the board. The key things with our system, if you're running a call queue, let's say you've got a sales or support group that handles calls, we can assign SLAs, and we'll discuss that here in a minute. But it's service level assurance that you know that your calls are being handled, and if those calls aren't being handled in an appropriate time, it'll alert whoever that manager may be. We're able to do audio bridges, so we can bridge two different PBX systems. We just did an integration with a 911 system not too long ago, where we hooked our PBX to an adjacent one to be able to pass calls back and forth. If you have any questions on the majority of these features, we can discuss them after the fact. So we are a preferred partner for Yealink. Why we are a preferred partner with Yealink is we have intimate knowledge of the short codes or programming language with Yealink to be able to maximize the benefits out of your VoIP system as well as your handsets. So going through some of the features with the phone system here, as you can see, Jason Bond is actually doing a video call right now. There's a pop-up within the web console. And let me take it back just here for a second if I can. With the VoIP system, you get a lot of additional features other than just a handset or a phone. You also get a web URL or desktop application that gives you the enhanced capabilities of the phone system. So in this case, you can see pop-up of who's calling. You can see the availability of other employees. And in this case, like I said, you can actually do that video conference straight from your browser with that single pane of glass. The management side of the house is extremely intuitive. If you elect to manage your own PBX system, we'll train you how to do this. Again, it's managed straight from a browser window. And with the desktop app, you can place calls directly from your computer to your desk phone, cell phone, or headset. And to the right here, you can see what we call BLF, or you can see any of the other employees of the organization, whether they're busy, do not disturb on the phone, or available. And we already discussed the many benefits of integrating with text messages, Facebook, and video, keeping those client communication channels open. So I know I'm running a little bit tight on time here, so I want to talk about productivity tools here real quick. A lot of cases, you want to be able to pay attention closely to how your phone system's utilized with your employees, with your call queues, which is a specific method of being able to handle calls. You can take a look at a single pane of glass and see how many calls are answered, how many have been waiting, how long it took, if there's any callbacks pending. You can pull up demographics regarding who's been answering phone calls, who's been slacking on answering phone calls. You can pull up how long somebody, what the mean ring time for phone calls was in, how many calls were answered. In this case, you can see that 3 calls were abandoned. The caller hung up for some reason. If the call queue is busy, we can give the client an option to select for a callback. And in that case, as soon as a employee is available, it'll automatically ring that client back for them. So you can see the statistics for that. Everything's well documented, so your chats, your SMS messages, all of those are recorded for later review as well. And here's the general review. You can see who chatted with who specifically in that pane. So training and supervision is key with any business. There's a lot of capabilities that come along with this that allow that supervision aspect to go along with it. So we're looking at the web console here again, meaning somebody's logged into the browser, the phone system. As long as they have appropriate permissions, they can actually go to the switchboard and see what calls are coming in. So the use case scenario for this would be, I am training another employee on how to answer the phones in their respective position. In the old days, you'd have to stand next to them or have a complex headset, so this way you could listen to the same call as them. Now you can actually do that from a separate cubicle or even across the world. You simply find the call that employee's on, and you can right-click on it, and you can decide to listen, barge in, or whisper to that employee. Now, there's greater controls over it if you wanted to reroute a call mid-call. But the use case scenario of this would be, I want to coach this employee on how to be able to manage this situation or phone call. And so I would select whisper to the employee. So as I'm listening to that employee talk to the caller, I can talk into the headset or talk into the phone, and only my employee would hear what I'm saying so that they can use that input to better handle that call. So you're able to listen to employees as they make their phone calls in that training strategy, as well as whisper information to coax that employee on better call handling. So let's take a look here real quick. We're going to do a cost analysis or a savings analysis on a municipality. We handled a municipality. They have over 150 employees. They have 7 remote sites. They have integration with a 911 system. They wanted an individual voicemail box for each 150 employees. Have over 99 desk phones. In this particular case, we had to do quite a bit of networking to get them up and running. So there's 3 48-port switches that we included in it. They did have a requirement for PA system integration as well as door phones. We deliver 7 fax lines or 7 DIDs for faxes, as well as requirement for call recording and remote storage for those call recordings. The previous phone system that they had, they were paying over $7,357 per month for their previous phone system that did not have all these capabilities. And then post-implementation with Illinois Voip, their final invoice per month is at $1,776.22. So as you can see, a considerable savings across the board for that organization. Over 75% savings, or $5,580 per month was saved by them. Here's another cost comparison here. Traditional old phone service for 12 users, roughly $300 per month. A cloud hosted system, again, this is a per user fee, $12 to $15 per month per user is kind of our estimate with it. You're looking at roughly $180 per month. Our private PBX system, what we've discussed most of the capabilities here, 8 concurrent call paths, unlimited users, many PBX features, unlimited integrations, and unlimited calling for $160. So when you're really hitting that 12 user mark, that private PBX, breaking free of that per user fees is really the way to go cost savings wise. So I believe this is the last slide I want to go over here real quick. Our migration process for any business as they move into Illinois Voip phone service. Again, it's extremely white glove. There's always an initial phase 1, 2, and 3. Phase 1's where we get the information exchange. How does your business run? How do you need your phone system to run? We begin provisioning and programming the PBX, or the computer that runs the phone system. We do any type of integrations with business suites or applications. We always do a pilot site for testing, which typically we'll end up going out and do a pre-install for phones, and then provide a demo phone number so that they can test their phone system before full implementation. During phase 1, we'll also do the menu recordings to build out auto attendance, or what they need specifically for their phone system to operate. And then we set the FOC date, or the date where we move the phone numbers from the old service provider to us. So phase 2, we complete the hardware installation. And this is typically before the phone system goes live. We'll either train the trainer or train the employees on how to use that. Again, a lot of cases we'll have the old phone next to the new phone so the employees can practice prior to the new phone system being live. And then once the FOC date is met, or the date the phone numbers come over the new system, the new phones will automatically start ringing, and it's all been tested, tried, and employees trained. And then phase 3 is we meet back with you to make sure if there's any changes or modifications that need to be done, that we go ahead and do it at that time. All right, so at this point, I'm going to open it for questions and answers.
Excellent. Thanks, John. Okay, we do have a few questions that came through. Our number is appearing as spam. How do we resolve this?
There's a couple of different factors that play into numbers being listed as spam. There's a lot of different providers that are out now that have their own spam tracking capabilities. Ultimately, it's whatever provider, how they qualify that as being spam. So an example would be Verizon, for instance. If you're receiving a phone call on Verizon, it shows as spam. Now, Verizon has their own list and whatever criteria that creates that list of what they consider to be spam. If you're on a VoIP system that's showing it coming through as spam, then you would need to find which provider that is, and then file a request for them to review that, have it removed from their spam listing. Each provider, so Verizon, AT&T, etc., they've got their own qualifying criteria to be able to say this is not spam and this is why. But ultimately, each provider makes their own decisions on what they consider spam or not.
Perfect. And can my phone be reprogrammed to work with your service?
There is at least 35 different handset types that will work with our service. So Polycom, Yealink, I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but there's a good chance that it can, so long as it is a VoIP phone. Then there's a great likelihood that it can be compatible with our service.
And where are your servers located?
Uh, they're instead of sounding cheesy, they're all over the United States. To be quite honest, we've got a data center that we use in Wisconsin, Chicago, Las Vegas, on the East Coast and West Coast. So literally, depending on where our clients are at, we tend to get a data center that's closest to them. So if it's here in Illinois, it's either going to be served out of Wisconsin or Chicago, and then it's still going to fail over based on whoever we have set up at those other data centers for failover.
Okay, excellent.
Again, the goal is to expedite the communications. So, if it's the clients here in Illinois, we're not going to have a server on the West Coast delivering the VoIP service.
Right. Okay, perfect. And what type of office license do we need to use your service?
Can you say that question again?
What type of office license do we need to use your service?
I really don't
Maybe it
understand the
doesn't apply.
question.
Yeah. Okay, no worries. We'll move on. How do you control call quality for remote workers who are using their home internet to connect?
That's always a key piece. Once employees are further away from the controls or confines of the business, it makes it a little bit difficult. And I think a lot of people experience this with COVID. I'm just going to go on a limb here, and some of the horror stories that we heard, they would have maybe a 10 meg down and 1 meg up connection at home for an employee that's now, pushed into a telework environment where they're using their computer and their business phone. And where I would say the majority of the solution that I had with that is them to run the mobile app that comes with our private PBX. The mobile app can be taken off of the local network at home, meaning turning off the Wi-Fi in the mobile app. We also have the capability of doing what's called ring and mobile simultaneously. So if somebody dials the extension and they've got poor internet bandwidth at home, they can actually ring their mobile phone at the same time. They could answer the call on that if they had low bandwidth. So there's a lot of different options and capabilities to go along with it, other than forcing the employee to pay more money for bandwidth at home. But ultimately, that's a consideration that you always have to have.
And what is the maximum number of people that can participate in a video conference?
It depends on the licensing requirements. So I think by default, the lowest package, eight concurrent call paths, which licensing I think is roughly like $300 a year for the whole phone system. I think you get 200 at the base, so you can have 200 video conference participants at once, and that's the lowest tier. If we go into 32 call path or concurrent calls, then that increases as well.
Wow, okay. And do you limit the number of minutes per user?
I don't know if we're talking about video conference still, but we've got the capability of limiting calls by users depending on how the business wants it set up, but we don't cap minutes. It's unique to the specific plan that the company needs. So for the most part, if we can either do a price per minute of call or we can do, a concurrent call path where it's unlimited minutes per concurrent call per month.
Perfect. And what about call analytics? Are they included with the base service or is that an add-on?
No, call analytics, all the features that I showed you here with our private PBX system, the glory of it is it's your PBX, everything that's incorporated in that license during the pre-sales process, everything that's capable of that phone system is all included. It's not a a la carte or piece by piece. It's these are what you're licensed for. You get all the call analytics, the call controls. You get all the features right off the gate.
And can those analytics be emailed, the reports?
Yes, you can
Perfect.
schedule them to automatically be emailed and then what or recipients to have them. So keep in mind, you can do the analytics per individual group, team, or call queue. So if Jane has the sales queue and she wants that report, she can get that. But then if Bob wants one specifically for engineering, then Bob can get that analytics emailed to him monthly, quarterly, daily.
Great. Excellent. Well, that was our last question. Thanks so much, John. Fantastic presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for joining today. We hope you enjoyed today's session and look forward to seeing you at the next event. You may now disconnect and have a great day.